The covert disappearance. If I hadn't been so close to him, I would have missed it. I was sure of that. It had happened so fast that I could not believe my eyes at first. But I was certain it had happened. I was 100% sure. It was sports day at last, the day I had been waiting for. I had trained hard all term for this, and the results showed during the heats. I was chosen to represent my class in the three-legged sprint sack race, in which two teammates ran together with a leg each in a common sack. Square was my teammate. Gumi had just missed out on selection. He didn't seem too bothered by this. I think he was saving himself for his surfing lessons anyway. I had been devastated when Dad told me he could not come. Even more crushed than Dulis and Pago, who were also competing for their respective classes. I wanted my father to see me in my hour of glory. Mom tried to cheer me up all evening yesterday, and I finally said I understood. Dad had some very important work to do. Besides, she was coming, she added. Wasn't her presence enough? She pleaded. Put that way, I had to relent. My race was due to start at 2 o'clock. The school playground had been decorated and tracks laid out. There were banners everywhere declaring it to be St. Farron's School Sports Day. As if I needed reminding. The butterflies doing somersaults in my lower abdomen were doing a fine job already, I thought. There was a feeling of expectation in the air as parents streamed in from the school gates and began to make their way to the spectators' stands. Dulis had gone to fetch Mom in the car just before the family's first race, Pago's. I attached myself to the school gate, hoping for an inspirational glimpse of my mother before my race. There were crowds of proud, and otherwise, parents, other relatives, and friends everywhere. Where was my mother? I looked frantically around. Then I spotted her. She was wearing a polka-dotted dress, my favorite. I waved. She saw me and waved back, beaming and giving me the thumbs up. Dulis did the same. He was calm, collected. I wish I had his nerves. I was better now, though, after seeing Mom had made it. I turned and walked towards the start line. The spectators began to settle. Proceedings began just after 2 o'clock. There was a long speech by our headmaster, Mr. Portia, not one word of which I managed to catch. I was far too focused on my upcoming race. There followed shorter speeches by various random guests whose names I didn't quite catch. Then the races finally begun, with the younger children going first. There was a lot of laughter, cheering and clapping as each race ended. Square and I were watching from the start line with Mr. Buana. Pago won his race. Mom went mental with joy. When Pago went to receive his trophy, I thought she might get certified there and then. The other mothers were generous in congratulating her, I noted. Even the mother of little Renshu, who came last, was hugging Mom and telling her, well done. In return, Renshu got a kiss from Mom, as big as that she gave Pago. It was all good-natured. But Square and I had to win, nonetheless. We're going to win, Kieran, Square nudged me, terminating my absent-minded reverie. I nodded nervously, turning round to face him. I realized he too was looking at the scene around us and had come to the conclusion that I had, that losing a race at Pago's age was no big deal. He still got a kiss from the winner's mother. At our age, things were a little different. Serious pride was at stake here. Sure thing, Square. Of course we'll win. It goes without saying. We trained hard, didn't we? We gave each other high fives and laughed. a dry, nervous laugh, which relieved some of my tension, but not all. Soon our race was announced. Square and I got ready in silence. This was the moment of truth. On your marks, get set, go! And we were off. Nothing strange happened until halfway through the race. Square and I were in second place when suddenly, for a second or two, Square was gone. Gone. Disappeared. Confounded, I had continued with the race in a daze, only to see him at my side a split second later. I wondered if anyone else had noticed. I looked around at my fellow competitors. They seemed tunnel-visioned, seeing nothing but the finish line in front of them. I glanced round at the crowd. They were going mad with frenzy. Square and I won. I knew why. I had run unimpeded for the crucial second he was missing. I had had an unfair advantage over the other paired runners in the race. It was enough to make us win, quite apart from the fact that we had trained jolly hard. Mom was in a seventh heaven once again. My brothers were almost matching her on the decibel scale. I should have been happy, but instead I felt odd. I was confused and worried. I glanced at Square. He was being carried overhead by a small crowd, including his father. He seemed normal enough. What had happened during the race? Was this one of his high-tech tricks? Somehow I thought not. I couldn't help feeling that something sinister had just happened. The butterflies in my stomach refused to go away. This was an excerpt from Attack on Planet Falrus by Joanna Monigatti. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Do drop a comment or two down in the comment section to let us know which part of the book you enjoyed. And of course, you can also find the book on Amazon. Happy reading and enjoy your stay on Planet Falrus.